just want to go over, I played a couple years into this dynasty for college football NCAA. Gee, sorry guys. And so, what we got here is I just kind of want to go over the best abilities. So this is what I found. So we'll go to team, view roster, just so you can see the overalls. 94 overall, offense 95, defense 94. So I've done 3 different coaches so far. With 3 different coaching ability setups. And so here's what I found. And I'm just going to start from the most important perk and work backwards. And so this CEO perk is probably the most important perk. I think it's the best perk to get your team's overall up. If you can get it. Now the requirements to get this perk are you have to win 2 national championships and you have to spend 50 points in a recruiter and 50 points in motivator, right? Or 25 points, sorry. You have to spend 25 points in motivator and 25 points in recruiter, which you can see I've done. So the reason why this perk is the best is because there's 2 things. There's actually 3, but if you are a lower tier program, if you're a 3, 4-star, 2-star, whatever, then there's a 3rd perk that I'll show that might be beneficial, but it's not completely necessary. But there's 2 perks that are going to allow you to essentially field a really solid team every year. And the first one is first round projected players are less likely to leave for the NFL. Now, what does that mean? Well, that essentially means that anybody who's basically a 94 overall and under is probably going to come back next year. The way this game does it is anybody who is basically the best at their position, if they're like a 96 and up, basically they don't come back, which is kind of realistic. Like if you're projected to be a top 10 pick, you're not coming back to college. So this doesn't help with that. So like if you have a 99 overall guy who's eligible for the draft, he's not coming back even with this perk. But that's okay because we're going to go with this other perk here, which is senior super relatives, which is increase all skill group caps by 1 for rising seniors. So what this does, this really boosts all your juniors. And I'm not sure if it's just for people who are projected to be starters, but from what I see, it boosts basically all your seniors significantly. One, it knocks a skill cap off of a player, so it knocks a skill cap off of all your seniors, and then you get the off-season training, and so that helps you field a solid team every year. Especially if you've got those juniors who are in their mid 80s, low 90s, to have them come back in the high 80s or mid 90s for the year, right? So this is going to allow you to keep fielding good teams each year, even when like your best players, if you get to this point, even when your best players are going to the draft. So these are the 2 most important perks, is getting these 2 to field a good team. That's if you want to get a team that's in the 90s overall. Now my suggestion, if you're doing a complete rebuild for the team, if you're going to do a complete rebuild, like you're doing a small tier program that all their players are like in the 70s, some in the 60s, you might have some difficulty winning a national championship. Obviously you can lower the difficulty level settings. but that's not really necessary. I play on All American. You can put it on Heisman. It's basically All American Heisman aren't that much different level wise. The difference is like the cornerbacks are a little more sticky on the receivers. So like if you trying to do like I do, which is like blow stats out of the water, that's harder to do on Heisman. You might only be able to throw for 350, 400 yards or run for 150, 175 yards instead of being able to run for 250 and throw for 600 yards. But essentially, these two perks are the most important to building a team that's going to consistently be in the 90s from what I found. Like this coach isn't even fully maxed out. So there's still a ways to go. But the other thing that this CEO perk does, which is huge, if you're actually competing and are doing the making it to bowl games and things, is the amount of XP you get for winning bowl games when you have the CEO perk is massive. Like you're getting 5,000-6,000 points every time you win a bowl game. So it's a really good perk. And then what I've found is, because like I said, I've done a lot of people do heavy into recruiting, right? So, you have your recruiting perks, and when you max this out, you're going to get a lot more recruits, a lot more 4-star, 5-star guys. If your program's winning, if your program's like a little smaller tier, you'll get more 3-star guys. That works. But it's not necessary, and I'm gonna show you guys why in a little bit. So I wouldn't even really I'm spending the bare minimum points in recruiting to get the CEO perk, which is 25, right? So this is the next most important perks here. These perks here, because these are immediate boost to your players' ratings, right? So every player on your roster gets a boost with these perks. You know what I mean? Every quarterback on the team gets a boost throw on the run and change of direction. Every quarterback on the team gets a boost throw under pressure. So this raises the overall for players across the board and just automatically makes your team better. So this helps keep the overall up. Like I said, again, if you're trying to just build the best team possible, you basically want to max these out. I haven't purchased this one because I don't quite know what it does. This cross training, I don't know how it makes the linemen better. So I'm leaving it alone because it's not a direct boost like these other perks are. And then I got this perk as well because this perk is really effective for the run game. All these fatigue hits. D-line takes a fatigue hit every 4+ yard run, and then reduces defender ability to disengage from run blocks and reduces defender ability to shed run blocks. That's really important for especially if you're building your team. That's really important for when you're playing these high-ranked teams with 90 overalls, and they have all their D linemen have stars. So that's really important if you're trying to run the ball. So I got that perk, but like I said, these are the most important perks. You want to basically max out all these. I didn't max this one out yet, but I'm going to. You basically want to max out all these perks, and then work hard to kind of get this CEO perk, which is you have to win 2 national championships, and you have to spend 25 points in motivator and recruiter. Now going back to the recruiting thing that I was talking about. And why you don't need to spend a lot of points in recruiter, I find that all you have to do is hire assistant coaches who have basically their recruiters maxed out. But if both assistant coaches have their recruiter maxed out, you're going to pull the top recruits that you can pull for whatever your program level is. So if you're a 5-star program, you're going to pull a lot more 5-stars. See, so I just hire the assistant coaches to kind of handle the uptake on recruiting, and then you don't have to sink all your points into recruiting. You can sink your points into things that actually make your players better, because honestly, getting the best players doesn't mean much in this game because of how they do the player progression. You don't get a chance to it's not like Madden where if you ball out and you just get a bunch of XP, and you can just basically endlessly level up a player until they're like a 99 overall, because they put the caps on, and also because XP is a bit of a mystery on how you get it. I think you get like 2 or 3 upgrades throughout the year for your players as they accumulate their skill points. to get better, but it doesn't really matter because of the skill caps. So you really want to just focus on. So you really just don't want to put your points into recruiting when they have points that directly affect the players overall. That's really what you want to focus on. Now, I've done architect type, and I find that the XP bonuses aren't really that great. And they're kind of inconsistent. So you think you're going to get these skill cap bumps when you win things, right? So chance to increase best skill cap. Let's go to the bottom one, the one at the already at all the way at the bottom where it says put a ring on it. Chance to increase best skill cap with a conference. I found that a lot of times that doesn't happen. It seems to be it's not a guarantee that happens. So the players actually don't get as good as you think they would with all these XP bonuses and things like that. They really don't increase like you would think they would with this, which is why this is a better one, because this is a guaranteed bump to every player's skill ability. So you're already fielding a good team just off of, it doesn't even matter what the player does, right? So this one is going to boost your teams overall, boost your players overall, and give them that bump. And then I'm probably, because like I said, this coach isn't maxed out. Third, you would want to fill this part out, right? So this one gives you a little bit of a mix of both worlds when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to getting your players' skills up. So basically what this does is you get the quarterback transfers or more. So at the end of the year when you have transfers, they'll be more interested. Interest boost for QB recruits when a current QB hits a skill cap. So like I said, if you're building your players up, probably once or twice a year, you're going to have a guy hit a skill cap. Might not be your quarterback or whatever, but that's going to boost your interest in the mid to early part of the season to help you land some recruits. And then these are the most important parts, right? Lower rated quarterbacks will progress faster, right? So that means that quarterbacks who aren't as good are going to get a quick bump in the off season that they wouldn't get, and that basically compounds with the senior superlatives. So when they do become seniors, they could actually probably be starters. And then star makers, starting quarterbacks will gain XP faster. And so basically what that does is that just gives you end game XP with all the players who are starting in your games. And so you basically want to kind of try to max these out. And so like I said, that's going to help you field, if I go back, that's going to help you field a team that's kind of consistently in the 90s here, right? So like you see the true overall for this player is 94, but with the skill bumps that you get from the tactician, he's a 96, right? His a 93. Oh, his true overall is a 93, but his actual overall is a 96 because of the bumps. And you can just go down the board, right? And so like I said, all of these, you'll notice that my best players are seniors now and juniors, right? A lot of seniors who have high ratings, and that's that senior superlatives. Like a lot of these guys weren't very good, but they get a really solid bump when they're seniors and going into their senior year. So that makes it so that you can better replace your top stars that are leaving early, because they have like really high overall. So if you got a guy that, like I said, is a 97 overall, he's gone. Like there's no perk that's usually going to let you get him back. It literally says none. When it says chance to persuade, it says none. Which makes sense. Like I said, the problem, I'll get into my review of this game and on another stream, but there's some issues with this game that make me not probably gonna buy it. I'm probably not gonna buy it next year. It's still fun though. But you'll see here, right? So you're getting all these bumps. True overall 90, actual overall 93, right? So these are the perks that are gonna help you build your team up to the highest level that you can get as far as getting consistently in the 90s with an overall. And so basically the order you want to do this is obviously when you start your season, fill these out first, right? Do this. This is going to give you immediate bumps to positions, overalls, and your team overall as you fill these out. Once these are filled out, right, you got to work your way towards a national championship. So you got to win 2 national championships to get this CEO perk, which is going to help you keep your team consistently in the 90s year in and year out. And the way to do that, the way to do that with a team that isn't very good is, Madden and NCAA still haven't really quite gotten a handle on speed. It's still speed still kills. They've done a lot better job than back in the day, like in the early 2000s and stuff, where they didn't really have like all these other they didn't have all these other attributes that affected speed. So like guys who had 92 speed could never cover guys with 98 speed. Now they can do it because they have like the acceleration and change of direction and all these other things that they have to help guys, to make it more realistic, right? There's a reason why honestly, if you look in football, a lot of times the fastest receivers on the field aren't the best receivers. And definitely the fastest combine receivers that go to the NFL. If you look at John Ross and Xavier and all those guys, they're far from the best wide receivers in football because it's not all about speed. But in the game, it definitely is about speed. So anybody, if you have a low-rated team, you definitely want to take all your guys. I don't care what their rating is. It doesn't matter the rating. If you have a running back and wide receiver, right? We're talking running back and wide receiver. Running backs that are 96 speed and more, and wide receivers who are 97 speed and more. If they're overall 66, doesn't matter. Put them in. Like I said, if you're trying to win a national championship and you have a team that and you're actually playing the games, and you have a team that isn't very good, trust me, when they run man coverage, you put a go route on those wide receivers, they're going to get open. Just lead them with the ball. That'll help you kind of play better to kind of get to those national championships. But yeah, that's just kind of my advice from what I've seen. Like I said, I've done recruiter, I've done a heavy architect, I've done heavy motivator. This is the best build that I've seen, where we focus on Scheme Guru. I said tactician earlier. It's actually Scheme Guru, and then the CEO perks. You only need these 2. You only need the first round projected players are less likely to leave for the NFL, and senior superlatives. Like I said, this perk here, Dream School, is nice for if your school is if you let's say you win 2 national championships, you're going to basically have a 5-star program, right? So this isn't as necessary because guys are going to automatically commit when you offer them scholarships. When you have a 5-star program, this will give you maybe 1 or 2 more players that automatically commit than what would be without it. But like I said, I don't have it because my program's a 5-star. I did a run through where I had it, and I did a run through without it. And so what I find is if you're a 5-star program, it's completely unnecessary because this past recruiting season, I got 3 automatic recruits without it. So I imagine if I had it, maybe I would have got 4 or 5, but it's not really worth spending the 18 points when you can put those 18 points into something here that's actually going to help your players get better. It only works, and also because the perk only works for people who have you as first at the beginning of the season as their first choice. And sometimes that varies. Sometimes you might have a lot of first choice, and sometimes you might only have 8 or 9. And so you can get it, but that's the only perk that I might recommend if you are having trouble recruiting. But like I said, if you go to your coaches, and if you just make sure your assistant coaches, your coordinators have high recruiting, you don't need to put any points in the recruiting to get the high recruits. Like, we'll look at my recruiting board. Wait, nope, don't want to do that. Let's see. So top classes, where am I at right now? So I've got 4 5-star recruits and 7 4-star recruits, 1 3-star recruit. It's weird because the unmanned teams always seem to sign everybody so early. So they'll have like 20, like you see, Florida State has 21 recruits already, and I've only been able to sign 12. It seems like everybody for the users commits towards the end of the season. But again, I'm not using that perk the Dream School perk, and I still have 4 or 5 star recruits. So again, if you just go heavy on recruiter for your coordinators, you don't need to worry about putting recruiting points in, and you can focus on getting using your coins, your coach coins, for the abilities that actually improve the players on your team's abilities. So yeah, that's my tutorial for the best coaching abilities for NCAA. I would definitely check it out. Like I said, if you're starting from scratch and building a brand new program, this is definitely a good way to get your program up and ready to go. I think so. When I started with Nebraska, they were like they're like a middling team. I think they were maybe 2 or 3 stars. I think they're 3 stars, a 3-star program. Low 80s in the overall, and a glitch player that doesn't improve in Rayola. But now you see they're in the 90s. Now I'm kind of deep into this, so you see it's 2047. Like I said, I've done 3 different coaches on this run just to see what works best, and so that's what I have for you guys. But yeah, try this out if you've been having trouble getting your team consistently overall in the 90s. Try to do this build with a coach, and let me know what you think.